Hi everyone, as you saw in the clips previously, it is cold here. Washington is starting pretty early, I think. Everything's pretty frosty. I think it's only 28 degrees right now. So I have my hot drink here. And today I am going to do a tutorial. So this is the first tutorial video I've done. And this tutorial is going to be on how I draw faces. So just a disclaimer, this is not a tutorial on how to draw faces. This is a tutorial on how I draw faces. So for a while I did a lot more realistic type drawings, but lately I do a more stylized version of a face. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll probably see all my reels. They are up on YouTube as well, but yeah, so here are some examples of the types of faces that I draw. So yeah, today I have some faces picked out. I don't know if I'll get to all of these, but these are some faces that I've found to be very interesting. It's important to choose, well, first of all, it's important to use reference photos for your drawings. And second, it's important to choose reference pictures that really show the face line. So this line right here. You don't want to pick pictures that, with people that have their hair in their faces, because you're really trying to learn the structure of the face. So these were some that I picked out. So we'll start with this girl here. Just zoom in a little bit. And for materials, I like to use this pencil. I've used it so much, so the name is actually rubbed off, but I like to use the Staedtler pencil. It's just the HB. I don't think you can see that, but yeah, it's just the HB. Any light pencil would work. I actually sharpened this for this video, but I actually like to use dull pencils for these. It just helps to get down the idea better for me. So we'll try this setup here. Let me just adjust it really quick. So I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit. I'll put the reference photo on the side in the video for you guys to see. All right, so there we go. So traditionally speaking, you would typically draw the entire head, right? And then section it off, but I actually don't draw that way. Let me just erase this really quick. I actually start from the hair. And this started when I practiced using pen for my drawings. I initially started drawing in pen just to get over my fear of drawing in a sketchbook, just going for it and not overthinking it. And from that, I have developed this way of drawing from the hair down. So I'll show you that right now. So typically I'll just start, just a rough. I'll just start to draw in the texture of the hair, kind of map out the hairline like that. And then I'll go in and really place those eyebrows. And at this point, nothing is final. You're just trying to get a good layout down of the face. So you want to make sure, the forehead is a good size, you have the right spacing in between the eyebrows and the temples. And then you just want to rough in the shape of the eyes. And for me, I do use reference drawings or reference photos, but a goal of mine is not really to make them look exactly the same. I'm just using it literally as a reference, just to see where their shadows fall, things like that. So you just want to rough in the eyes. Now I typically like to draw the eyes a little bit bigger than the reference photos. And since I draw a lot with pen now, I used to do a lot of shading with pencil, and a lot of blending, but now with this art style, it's really important to know what details you want to show and what details you don't want to show. Here, let me adjust this so you can see the full face. Because if you want, you can literally obsess over every single detail on the face and put in that much effort, but for me, it's really just getting the overall feeling and mood and emotion of the face down more than anything else. I really like button noses, so I think I've developed this type of nose that's not fully finished. You don't see the bridge or anything like that, but you just see the very tip. And typically for these, I don't really like to draw, in this picture, this reference photo, her mouth is open, but sometimes I just change it. You can really improvise. You don't really have to draw exactly the same. I mean, maybe I'll try doing an open mouth for this one. As you can see, I start from the top and I work my way down from the face. And the last part that I do is actually doing the overall face, shape of her face. You want it to come pretty naturally. I want this part to go in a little bit. I want to keep her cheeks pretty round. We don't really want sharp edges anywhere. And you can see a little bit of her ear on that side. And you also want to make sure, the start of the ear is, around the top of her eye. So you want to keep that just so it looks correct. And then you'll see the ear stops or ends kind of towards the end of the nose. So just want to measure those. So yeah, we won't go full detail on her sweater there. But at this point, I'll go back. Oh, you can't even see the sweater. Let me zoom out a little bit so you guys can see better. Sorry about that. So yeah, so from here you can go in and start making some edits. You can start, adding some more detail. I don't do a whole lot of detail in my drawings anymore, but I do always like to do detailed eyebrows. Eyebrows really make your face. They really frame the face. So I do like to add that detail. And even if my reference photo doesn't have, full brows, I'll go and I'll generally do a fuller brow just because I like that look on my drawings. And I think, so her eyes are kind of crooked, so I'll go in at this point and make those changes. I'm just going to lift it a little bit here. You can see her eye kind of rolls over in the end, over in this side. Definitely easy to get carried away with drawing, but you just gotta call it at some point. So I'll generally leave it kind of at this point before I go in and I ink. I just want to make sure. So let's draw the hairline here. A little bit slimmer in the face, something like that. And typically I like to do a little bit of shadow on the face and then just, some light strokes, especially just to emphasize the cheeks. And sometimes I'll even go in and I'll add a little bit more detail just along the nose bridge as well. Just a little bit. So that looks pretty good for now. Let's go on to the next reference photo here. Actually going to a little bit onto the other side here. So we'll do this one next. I really don't have a preference in drawing females or males, but males generally tend to have, sharper features, especially along their cheekbones and their chins, and they have generally they have a really strong nose bridge, but other than that they're pretty similar. So yeah, we'll start this one here, and again I'll start with the hair. So let's do this one a little bit smaller up here. Let's just box this out. Just so I stay within the lines here. So for these, it doesn't even have to be like realistic for the hair. I'm just drawing the overall shape. There's a lot of bangs. And his face kind of just comes down. So again, get some longer bangs here, and then we'll go in and we'll map out the brows. And so here actually he has some kind of an expression on his face, so that brow is actually not going to be straight, it's going to be angled. It's got really big eyes. This one's a little bit more slanted. This guy's looking over to the right as well. What are they looking at? So yeah, and you'll see like this face is obviously not going to be this wide over here, but they're good guidelines to keep the face inside. Before, when I used to draw like I'll show over here, like a you would start with like an oval and then you would map out, but for some reason like I would draw really small in the face and it just wouldn't look right. I really prefer to draw it this way. It keeps things kind of boxed in on top, but it gives you the freedom to really fill it out as you go. So for guys, when I was talking about that thicker nose bridge, I do like to give them a little bit more guidance with lines and shadows along their nose. So I'll just bring it down just ever so slightly, more so than the girl. And sometimes I'll even add some lines along the top as well. Not always, but so we're looking pretty good. Looks pretty crazy, but boys generally tend to have thinner lips as well. He looks like like an egg, but let's fix that now. It's got quite a few bangs coming down, and this is where, you don't have to be very exact. This is where you can kind of improvise. You're just using this photo as a reference. So generally they'll have their little cheeks here, right? So as long as you find where their face ends, you can kind of go up and kind of connect it, right? So his hair is actually going to come down there. So again, the size of the ears generally from the top of the eye to the bottom of the nose. So we'll go again and fill that in. I feel like this is a little big, so we'll go ahead and make that a little smaller. So yeah, I'll fill in these lines up here. And they'll generally connect down below here. I'll just add a little bit of shadow underneath the mouth and underneath the chin. So So at this point I'll go back and adjust brows. Kind of looks like a, what's his face? The guy from Corpse Spray. He looks a little bit like, doesn't he? So you can add accessories. Looks like he has something over here. And then generally, guys also have a thicker neck, so it'll just come down right straight from the face, really. Looks like this guy's a little bit on the skinnier side, so I'll be coming in somewhere along there. And I won't worry about clothes in this video. I'm just gonna roughen his collar here. But yeah, so there we go. Now this is just the pencil work, so I do go in after all this and go in with pen. So let's zoom in on here a little bit. Draw our next reference photo. Again, I'll kind of start with the hair. The very basic, you know, bangs. Ooh, and I like her. She has nice, thick brows. She's very, very blessed with thick brows here. Just kind of rough in where her eyes go. Generally, I do draw with my sketchbook on my lap or in really difficult to film positions. So drawing like this isn't the most comfortable, but for the sake of this tutorial, that is what I'm doing. So apologies if it's a little wonky, but I'm trying. Look at her eyes set in. Once you start drawing, you see the difference in people's noses. Like for me specifically, the shape of their nostrils. It's very, very interesting. It's just something you don't really pay attention to normally, I would think. I like her nose, it's very cute. So the difficult reference photos would be of her, you know, with curly hair, it tends to like get into the face and block this face line here. And that really makes it difficult to make your face look full. So when you're starting out, just keep that in mind when picking out reference photos. Okay, so enough of that one. So we'll work our way down here for, let's see, since I did 2 females, I'll go ahead and do another male. So I'll do this one right here. I think it's a slightly different angle than the other ones. It's that one or this one. Let's do that one. So again, I'll just draw a box just because I'm running out of space. Hopefully you can see this. Let me adjust it a little bit. Okay, so again, we'll start with the hair. In this one, you do see that it, his hair kind of covers. You did in the other one too. So if that's difficult, then try something else. This guy has really pretty hair. So from the top hairline down, you can see how much space you would need for the brows. Guys also tend to generally have straighter eyebrows, so they don't have that arch, it's just kind of straight across. So you can see also his hair kind of sweeps out here because you can actually see his entire eye. So even for these, let me do his eyelids first. Yeah, so for these, generally you'd want to draw a line and draw the nose bridge down, but I still don't really do that. I still just draw the bottom of the nose. I just kind of draw, just kind of imply that it's gonna go down. So I didn't do that nostril. Very good there. You'd be surprised how much the shape of the nostril makes the face. So I actually don't like that nose, so I'm going to try that again. A little bit better. That divot point's a little bit deeper. So he has facial hair as well, so we'll just kind of rough that in for now. And you know, you don't really have to like, I mean, not every drawing is going to end up how you want it, but it's important to go out of your comfort zone and try attempting to draw as much as you can. That's pretty much the best way to expand your skill set. I mean, no one's gonna look at these. I mean, you guys are looking at this, but I mean, for your personal drawings, like, no one has to see these pictures. Just draw as much as you can and draw as many different faces and different looking people as you can, because I mean, the same principles apply anatomy wise, but their expressions, the size and shape of their nostrils are different, and you learn a lot really fast. At least I did. I'm not really liking this guy. He doesn't give me the same mood as the drawing. But you know, sometimes that happens and then you end up with something that looks even cooler than your reference drawing. I won't say that's the case here, but you know, sometimes that does happen too, so. How is this looking on camera? Yeah, this is not the best one. Let's try one more while we're at it. Zoom out a little bit. This one. Apologize for this shadow. I also think it's good to not spend a whole lot of time on one drawing. You know, do the best you can, make it pretty quick, because really it's the more you draw, and you know, you can spend forever doing all the details on one face, but at a certain point you're not really benefiting from it, you're just kind of overthinking it. So if you draw the same face really quick 5 times, you'll learn more than just drawing one of them for longer. Believe me. The hardest thing about drawing is learning how to approach it, because something, you know, I would learn, or I would love to learn how to draw, is landscapes. But for me, in my head, it's not as easy to approach as a face is. But that's just because I've been doing faces for a long time. I'm sure, you know, once I try doing landscapes, I'll develop a process that works for me. So really, I mean, like I said, it's just all about doing it a lot. So, you know, that's probably going to be a New Year's resolution or goal for me, I think, is to try to do some more landscape drawings, because they are beautiful, and you know, I'd like to create some of the landscapes in my head. That'd be cool. Translate it to paper. This guy's got very full lips. That's crazy to see how fast this year's gone by. It's already almost December, so well, it's probably going to be December when I post this video. Yeah, this year has been crazy. I actually didn't get to do my holiday cards this year because I moved. Not really fully set up in my studio yet to print and ship and do all that stuff quite yet. I'm really excited to get there though, because I do want to have that set up for next year. It's a little off on his hair on the side, so it looks like his ear will be somewhere there. So here it comes to about there. So yeah, so that looks about right. Zoom in a little bit. So for guys, I do like to kind of draw that line down just a little bit. It seems to look better for the males. Didn't add a whole lot of eye detail yet. Generally, don't do that until I ink. And when you go too much on males, then their eyes look like put a bunch of makeup on them, so try to keep it pretty low on the detail for guys. Yeah, so we'll stop there for that one. Should we do one more? Why not? My iPad is about to die, so whoops. Let's do this one pretty quickly. I'm not going to draw the hand or anything, I'm just going to do the face. Hands are a different story. I'm not going to cover hands in this video. Just want to make sure their eyes line up there. Just huge eyes. Quite as far. I really like her nose too. Goes up at the end. You can see that okay. And like I said, like all the details, like the lashes, I might do a little bit of that at this point, but I do try to save all that detail for when I go in with pen because it's not too important at this point. Looks like her mouth is actually too far this way, so let's adjust that a little bit. So yeah, I mean, for me, I don't go for super realistic or exact match to the reference photo. If that's what you're going for, yeah, I'd focus a lot on, you know, the spaces between all the features. I really just look at reference photos for shadow, and just overall mood, like in the eyes, and just overall shape of their face. So, like I said, I won't go into detail with the hands on this side, so I'll just leave that kind of there. Just hair coming down this side. Nice little scarf. Yeah, so that's generally where I'd stop at this point before I go in and ink. Yep, that looks good. So let's zoom out here for a little bit. So the pen that I use to ink is this round stick Bic. It's honestly super cheap and super good. I tried other pens, but I really like this one. But yeah, so I'll just go in and just ink over everything, and then yeah, and I'll show you the final product. All right, so I just went in and I inked everything. At this point is when I would usually just go back and use my, oh, I don't think I mentioned the eraser that I used earlier. This is what I'm using right now, and I really like this one. It's really good for erasing all the pencil after I'm done inking. But yeah, so this is how it turned out. I'm pretty pleased with it, and he ended up turning out okay. I didn't give up on him, but he's not the best. But you know, you can still see though how different all of these faces are, and I think that is probably the best part about drawing faces. They all have such different emotions, different feels, totally different personalities, just in their faces. So that's pretty incredible. Yeah, so these two, I had a couple more on this side. So these two turned out pretty good as well. I actually really like how she turned out. I've drawn this model several times, and she is probably behind the look of a lot of my drawings. But yeah, I really like this one. But yeah, so I hope you guys maybe got some tips, or maybe this was just fun for you to see how I approach drawing faces. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye.